Okay, now we're recording. So they tell you what this is all about, what we're doing?
They kind of. I want you to tell me again. It's
Well,
mainly for George.
When the Stonewall Theater became the Historic Masonic Theater, Joan Vannersdahl had an idea of doing a book, sort of not a history, but remembrances of the theater and what people grew up with and what they remembered. And it was so popular, they did a couple more. And there was one about the railroad. A lot of people had worked on the railroad because it was such a big thing in Clifton Forge. And then the third one was about green pastures, the park, the recreational area.
Yeah.
And this is the fourth one.
Which is about
Dabney. Which is about Dabney. So it's not really history. It's more like people's associations with the college and what you remember about it. What I don't know. It's just kind of like I said, it's not really history. It's just
reminiscences.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
And we thought that you two would be good subjects because you had such a long association with the college. So let me start with George, because I know you were in the House of Delegates. Do you remember what years? This is before my time here.
1934 until no, wait a minute.
Not
Whoa,
34.
no,
Well, wait.
I wasn't that old yet. It was 1964, 63
Okay.
to 1971.
Okay, because you were out of the house by the time we moved here. I think you were not.
August 1971.
71. Okay, and I know you ran for governor. What year was that? Lieutenant governor. I'm sorry.
1971.
1971. Okay, and you represented. What was the district that you represented? It was
This area, and
Okay.
what's the group south of here?
Botetourt.
Botetourt.
Okay.
Botetourt.
So it didn't include Bath County. It was just Allegheny and. Okay.
Indian
I
Botetourt.
don't know if that's different now or not. Is it?
I think you're more in it.
I think you're right about that. And were you my notes here say you were co-patron of the bill which created the Virginia Community College system. Is
The
that
whole
correct?
system.
Yes. Oh, wow. Okay.
That was the whole system.
Not just Dabney, the whole system.
No, it was the Virginia.
Right, the Virginia. And do you remember how that came? Mills Godwin was the governor then, is that
Right.
correct? How did that, do you remember what the background of all that was, how that came about to create the Virginia Community College
Were
system?
you on the education committee?
I was on the education committee.
Okay.
And, yeah, but it came fast.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't require a lot of time. A lot of people wanted it.
Right.
When it came up, it went through. It just.
There wasn't a lot of dissension about it.
People wanted it.
And that would have been 1966, is that correct?
Yeah,
That sound right?
sounds like it.
1966. So was it patterned on community colleges in other states, or was this something?
There was some conversation about it,
Right.
not much than that.
They talked about the
It was,
California system.
Oh.
yeah, that's where it
That was one of the
started.
model systems.
Yeah, but it was, there were a lot of people in the organization I was in that wanted this for the whole
Delegates.
state.
Other
the whole
delegates.
state.
Yeah, other delegates.
So, but what was the thinking that this would be what's the word I'm looking for? This would be something that people who couldn't afford to go to a four-year school, it was, this is make it more accessible for people. Was that the thinking behind
And
it?
to get more people
Right.
activated in something like this.
It would be affordable and open to all.
Right. Now, was Dabney already here when that happened? Was it already a branch of Virginia Tech?
Yes.
Is that correct? And then it became part of the
Yeah.
system? Oh, okay.
It wasn't called Virginia Tech, it was Virginia Polytechnic Institute.
Right, I remember that. It was still that when I
Yeah.
came here, so it's VPISU,
Yeah.
correct?
Right, and state.
And so then it's now did you know Dabney Lancaster? Was he someone that you were, Mr. Lancaster at who the college is named after? Did you know him personally?
Yeah.
You did. What do you remember? What can you tell me about him?
I think I was in, it goes back quite a ways.
Yeah.
I think he was,
Wasn't he a superintendent
It
of
was
the?
the superintendent of the entire public
Exactly,
school
yeah.
system who was named in
yeah,
honor
but
of
even
him.
before that, he was in, when I was in college, there was a school next, about 5 or 6, not too far away from us. And I think he was, I think I met him when he was there. I think he
At
was,
that school.
You know which college, I know which college
Yeah.
that was. a
Yeah, and I've
women's
read this
college.
and now I don't remember
Right,
where it
and he was at that women's
I
college.
went to Hampton, Sydney,
Right. Yes.
and it was about 5 or 6 miles from there.
Yeah.
Oh, not Longwood.
Yes.
Longwood.
Oh, Longwood. Okay.
He was at Longwood.
He was at Longwood, that's where I first met him.
Okay, all right. Now it's coming back to me, now I
So
remember.
you met him as a student? You were
Yeah,
a student there?
yeah.
How
Oh,
about
my
that?
goodness.
But when you were at Hampton, Sydney.
Right.
Oh, goodness. So he must have been he was a powerful force in education,
Oh,
wasn't
yes.
he? Yeah, that's and he was kind of very forward thinking because that's, I've read about him. I
Yes,
just,
yes, he was.
Okay, so I know both of you have been very active at Dabney, and Helen, you have been on the
The advisory
Advisory
board for
board.
the college. I was elected after the Board of Supervisors received my name and nomination, so they elected me. It was around 1975.
Now, you're talking about the local board.
Advisory,
Right,
it's called an advisory board because we don't do anything other but advise
Oh,
the
okay,
college.
right,
It's
right.
the way it is now. They can't take action on their own, but they can advise the
Right.
president on the course of the college.
Okay.
So I stayed there in that job as an advisory person for about, I think, 10 years.
Really? Oh, okay.
8 to 10 years. And then Dr. Backles and Tom Warren and Mr. Chucker, Dr. Chucker, and I formed the foundation, created a vehicle, and it was really Dr. Backles' instigation. He actually put it out there to
Right.
form a foundation to create what we have now as a foundation, which raises money for the school.
I don't think I knew that. Oh my gosh.
There's 4 of us.
I didn't know that.
Maybe a 5th, but I can't, if it is a 5th, I
Yeah.
can't remember who it was, but it was
Right.
definitely Mr., Tom Warren,
Right.
I remember George Chucker, and the instigator of this was Dr. Backles
Yes.
and me. And so we went about to get a little bit of money for seed money, so we can
Right.
give our first, we had dinner parties, we had lots of things every year, dinners,
Yeah.
but the first bundle of money that we got together to give our first bits of money was $5,000 then. It was 19,
Wow.
what year did I say it was?
Oh.
About 83, 82, 83, something like that.
Wow.
Maybe it was 84, but
Early 80s. Right.
early 80s. And now we're $7.5 million.
Isn't that crazy?
So
Wow.
for all these years, the board has grown. It's a community board. It's a variety of people in number and size. We've had some talented directors to guide it. So I was an officer, of that. Off
And
and
you're
on.
still on the,
Still on the board.
have you ever been off it? Have you just stayed on it?
When in the mid-'80s, close to the time that we formed it, I also had to get off because I was chairman of the school board,
I remember that.
Allegheny. And I had to get off because I didn't have any time. I
Yeah.
had kids at home.
Right.
So I had to get off just to give myself a break so I could, what we did, we blended Clifton Forge and Allegheny County Schools. That was
That
so
was a huge
much
undertaking.
work.
I remember
couldn't do
that.
it.
Yeah.
So I got off briefly, but then George Chucker said, get
Get
back
back
on.
on.
Yeah. I've been on ever since.
Oh, okay. Isn't it wonderful when you look around the campus and you see the people that these buildings have been named after?
I love
And I
it.
knew them all, and I know you did too.
Yeah.
Ben Mumon,
Yeah,
Tom
all of
Warren,
those.
Dr. Backles, Liz Scott. Yeah, that's really
I know.
quite something.
I know.
That's just amazing. So, George, I didn't know, were you chairman of the state board for community colleges for a while also, the state board?
I was sometime later, I think it was in the 80s.
I have 85, 86, does that sound right?
Well, I was in there really 8 years.
Oh, okay.
I was chairman the second year there.
85, 86.
Okay.
But tell them about one thing I asked George, tell me about what you did on the community college. And of course, he wanted to expand
Right.
the programming and everything, but he had the board go down to
Southwest
Southwest.
Okay.
on 81,
People didn't
off
know.
of 81, but there were three more. I don't remember the names.
Community college.
Community
I
colleges?
took you with me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I took the whole board. I wanted to see what was happening in smaller areas.
Yeah.
Because most of the people on the committee that I was on, they were up in the
Well,
northwest. They were,
oblivious, I'm sure.
and they were growing.
Right.
We weren't growing. And they were talking about, well, we have to have more money here because we got this. And I thought, I want to take these guys down to Southwest Virginia to see how important it is to the people that live down here. So we set it up.
I think that's so key.
That is, isn't it?
Because they
Yeah.
didn't.
They didn't know, everything stops at Lexington or Charlottesville.
Yeah, or Richmond.
And,
Right.
we were there 3 days,
No kidding.
took them to each one,
Wow.
and they stopped talking about it. Because they were taken by how important it was to the people in this
Right.
area.
They saw the significance of that college, it meant so much, and they did so much, you know.
Well, think of Dabney, what this little gem means
Yeah.
to
Right.
this community. It's not just the employment and the education, it's everything, it's everything that goes with it. So, so it would have been Southwest Virginia. Where else would have been there? What else would?
It was all in Southwest Virginia.
Mountain Empire, that's another one.
That was
I
the
can't
main one
remember
we
the
went
three.
to, but there were three.
There's one near, is it Pulaski, or is that
No,
South?
that's
No,
not it, it's not it.
Well, anyway, there were three of them, so
There
anyway,
was
they got the
some
message, they got the message.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you were still on the
I'm still on the foundation board.
And tell me what that means to you.
I saw a small college of people who had interest in getting a degree for 2 years, transform into a transfer college where people went on and got more education to get more degrees. The nursing program expanded. The 4-year academic programs expanded with we brokered contracts with 4-year schools to
That's
have the
huge.
children
Yeah.
transition. I mean, it was an eye-opener, it was wonderful. And the mission of the college, which is primarily 2-year, is now reinvigorated by creating the technical programs that are being offered now on the higher end, you know.
Right. I know.
Communications, you know, what's happening with the computers and all that industry. Now we have a 2-year program that is off the charts, going all over the state. The community college program has met its challenge and gone beyond what its original charter was.
Isn't that wonderful? You were part of that you were there for the birthing, weren't you? I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, it's really remarkable.
Right.
And what has happened is, how many, are there 22 community colleges now?
It's 23.
23, you
I
might be
think
right.
it's
I think you're right about that. So, was Dabney, I should know this, was Dabney one of the first ones?
One of the first.
One of the first, I
I
thought.
think there were about, that's a long time ago, I'd say 12, 14, maybe we started with that
I think you might be
number.
right about that. Sounds
But
about right.
in that area.
It's really remarkable. And you look at Northern Virginia Community College, I mean, it's,
Oh, they're-
how many campuses do they
Campuses.
have?
Yeah, they're huge.
I know.
Well, we won't talk about that. But Dabney, and I think it's funny, it's not funny, I often have people come, when I was doing the non-credit program, they would say, wow, I didn't know all this was here. And it's just this little gem that don't appreciate it until you really think about it. So what is your impression of Dabney today?
Improved. It's pretty simple. Maybe I'm making it too simple, but it's...
And if I might add to that.
Okay.
It was always made up of the community,
Right.
and it answered so many calls to do so many other things. Now it's returning to community again. We're getting people on the campus. And Dr. Rhinoni, I don't know, but I don't have to say this, but we're gonna open up the cafeteria and bring people in so they can eat here again. The whole
Oh.
community is invited to eat here again.
Oh,
That
wonderful, yeah.
he's gonna make an announcement about that.
Yeah, I'll be here.
It's the community is ever more involved in this college.
It's smart.
Yes, it is. Well,
And we're doing, re-instigating or re-enlivening the sports teams, introducing
that's exciting,
sports.
I think, yeah.
So who knows what the end result will be now that we're introducing community activities back, and that's exciting.
It is exciting, yeah. I know Linda Thompson was a big, well, she thought that was so important to have a sports team. And,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I remember Christy Harbarger was telling me they had when she was here in the 70s, she played intramural volleyball, and she's I never
Yes.
played in high school, but I played when I got to Dabney.
Hey,
I know,
it's
it's
we
kind
should
of,
get tennis going again. Well, I don't know if
Yeah.
we'll do a tennis court again, but we should.
that would be nice.
Maybe some riding too.
I could do that. I could do that.
So horsewoman.
Yes, I am, as a matter of fact, yes. And I know you're involved in a lot, anytime when they had the capital campaign a couple of years ago, where y'all both, I know you're involved with
Yes,
that.
yes,
Were both of
yes,
you involved
yes.
with that also?
I think George was not involved, but I was
You were very much involved.
somewhat involved. At that time too, Judy, I was very involved with the arts.
That's true, yes,
School,
yes.
I have essentially, because I just have so many hours in the day and so much energy, I don't do as much here as I do at the art school. That has commanded most of my time.
But I think they kind of go hand in glove,
They go
don't
hand
they?
in hand, and my dream is that we will be part of the instructional program here.
Yes.
That we will
yes.
have personnel and we'll interchange, because there, you don't have to build a place to make pottery. We have
It's
the
there,
place.
right,
We
yeah.
can get a college.
Because that was kind of your idea
That
to
was
begin
my
with, wasn't
idea,
it? Yeah,
yes. We'll
right.
get some kind of synergy. We have a memorandum of intent brokered between the college and the School of the Arts. I hope that happens.
I don't see, it just seems too obvious, it seems like that's something that should happen.
It should happen.
It should. But I mean, both being community agencies, they're, what is this, dynamite, it really is.
Right.
Wonderful.
This place is wonderful, I think.
It is, and everyone, I remember when Dr. Renoni first came here, I ran into him in the grocery store one day, and he said, everybody I meet has some connection to the college. Some connection, either,
Something or someone.
there's something that they did. I mean, everybody
Right.
has some kind of
Right.
story to tell about
Right.
what their connection with Sandy. So when you, and I think it's kind of interesting that I mentioned this a few minutes ago about the names of the buildings. And I've been here long enough that I knew all
You
those
knew the
people
names.
too. I remember Tom Warren. I didn't realize he was initially on that foundation board. And
Right.
I love Dr. Chucker. Wasn't he just the sweetest
Yes,
guy?
we don't have a Chucker building,
No.
but we
We
should
don't.
maybe we should.
Yeah, maybe we should.
However, he was very excited about being part of this
Oh, I
college.
bet he was.
When he passed away, he was such a well-known figure that the family had his.
I went to it. I remember.
What
It was packed.
A funeral.
There's some sort of service that they did for
service
him
that
here.
they did
They had it.
honor, and they did it.
They did it here.
They did
I'd
it
forgotten
here.
all about that, but yeah, they did about that. So, is there? What would you like to see for Dabney for the future? What do you see happening here? Anything that?
Bring the community in.
Mhm.
Let children play here. Let young people play their sports here. Let people go to school here. Let concerts happen here. Painters should be painting on the campus with their easels. Yes, this is a true community space.
Right about that. Yeah, it's I forgot what I was going to say now. I was thinking about sports. And, of course, you mentioned it earlier. There's going to be a basketball team. That's exciting. And I think that generates a lot of.
Basketball team?
There's going to be one apparently in the next fall. Not this fall. Next fall.
Where are they going to play? You know?
I guess at the Armory because
At the
Dabney
Armory.
owns it now.
Now, see, that's ours. That's
The Armory,
schools
yeah.
now.
Armory,
So-
yeah.
So now we can have basketball games in the Army and not have to worry about building a gym. It's
I
there.
know it's there. It's like
I
it's a
know.
nice. It's a really nice gym too.
You know, we had things in the beginning like, we just did all, remember Mary, a very well-known lady, head of the English department?
Yes.
Ayers? No.
Yes. I know who you're talking about. What was her last
She
name?
helped with Mike Scott and
Yes.
me to do a film series. We had it upstairs on the second floor.
Remembered
We
that.
had about 25 or 30 people subscribe to it. These are films that we rented, art films, not, adventures.
Yeah.
just
Right.
More
I
to
remembered
study.
that.
That was the
I
first
think I
film
came to
series.
that.
Free
Yeah.
of charge.
Oh, for heaven's
just-
sakes,
yeah.
isn't that funny?
So those were some of the early memories here. And when this was the only building on campus, this is where everything
I know,
happened.
it
President's
is.
office, the nursing on the second floor.
I remember there would be community meetings and they'd be on the second floor of the administration building,
Right.
which is now Backholz
Right.
Hall. That's kind of cool. Did any of your family have connection? I know a lot of people I've talked to, their children went here or, or they took classes here or.
They took a class here and there, but
Right.
not really too much of a connection.
I just wonder, because sometimes that's, it was, Alan Dale Kraft was talking, his son was in, they did a dinner
Is that
theater.
who was just here?
Yeah, that was
I thought
Alan
that
Dale,
was
yeah.
him.
His son, and I remember this, remember when they used to do dinner theaters?
Yeah.
And his son, they did Oliver, and his son was Oliver, was the little
Right,
boy,
right.
and that sparked his whole, theater, love of theater, and I'd forgotten all about that. That goes way back.
Right, right.
So,
Remember those theaters? I wish we could have that
oh my
again.
gosh, those were so much
When you
fun.
asked me, would I like to see something
Yeah.
else? Yes,
Dinner theater.
dinner theater.
That's a big undertaking, but those were so much fun,
They
and we
were.
would buy a bottle of wine and have a nice.
So you
lovely.
remember those?
Oh, I remember those. I do remember those. They were fun. Anything else that you can think of about? I know you have. Something else came up. Anything else that you can think
Well,
of?
the
that-
fall program of events on Sunday afternoons that we have every other year.
Oh, the bubbles. Is that what you're
Bubbles,
talking about?
bands, that's something
Those are
that
fun.
has enriched the college, has enriched programs, has enriched the scholarship program. Right now, Mrs. Thompson is doing a magnificent job.
You talking about Rachel? Yes,
Rachel,
right.
as did her mother-in-law, to bring great put us on, bring us into the 21st century.
Everybody loves that. They
Yeah.
love coming. People look forward to it every
And
other
so
year.
there are many initiatives now, and everything goes towards scholarships and helping those who still, even with scholarships, students have trouble getting enough money together for books or
Yeah, yeah.
transportation. So we have things called Dabney Promise.
Promise that
which
which fills
gives
in those
kids-
gaps.
Fills
right,
in all
yes.
the gaps of the
Right.
students. I get excited.
That's all right. I think
Sorry.
it's cute.
Sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine. I think it's wonderful. So, so Mr. Kostel, anything else you can think of? He said you were on you were chairman of the state board. I mean, do you feel like Dabney is fulfilling its mission as
Yes.
being, yes? And you like for it to continue to
Yes.
do that? That's wonderful. But now I know you're a lifelong resident of Clifton
Yes.
Gorge, is that
Yeah,
right?
I was born here.
I thought you were born and raised here. And your parents had that famous restaurant, and they sent two boys through.
Three
Three.
boys. Peter, the dentist.
Remember Peter?
Harry, no.
I don't think I've ever met him.
He went to Newport News to practice
Oh,
law.
no kidding. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Three of us.
Three boys.
And I remember covering he was the chairman of the Clifton Forest School Board for a
That's
while, wasn't he?
right.
Because I had
That's
I
right.
used to cover those meetings.
Right.
And you were on the Allegheny. I remember that too.
Allegheny School
You were on the
Board.
board during
When-
consolidation.
That's why I had to get off of this for just a couple of years, because it's a lot to consolidate
Oh,
two
yeah,
school
that was
systems,
huge.
no matter how big or small.
There was a lot to consider.
Yeah.
I remember that. Wow, that's way back in the day. That's amazing. But you're not originally from here. You're from
I'm from Ohio,
Ohio. But you've lived here so long, kind of like me. You've been-
55 years, almost. You're almost in the same boat as me.
Yes.
We're
almost.
fixtures, local fixtures.
Yeah, how about that? That happens. So, well, this has been lovely. Anything else you can think of that you would like to mention about your association with the college, or?
No, I did very little, so
Oh, I think you
you have
did a
to
lot.
talk to the people.
You did
I
enough,
think
George.
I think
did
you got the
enough.
ball rolling, is what I think. That's-
Yeah, I agree.
Is there? I would love. What I'm going to do, I'm going to type up these notes, and would y'all mind looking at them, proofreading them before
Yeah.
I send it? Because Joan Vanderstal is doing all the editing and
Okay.
everything. But what would be the best way for me? Email? Can I send it to you as an email?
Helen E. Kostel, all small letters,
Okay.
at AOL.com.
No periods or hyphens?
No,
just all
nothing.
Okay. At AOL.
E. Kostel at AOL.com.
Okay. I think actually I've got your email address. So.
Thank you, Judith, for your time.
Well, thank y'all. Goodness.
So nice for you to come and do this.
Well, it's kind of my thing. You know, other than riding horses, I can do this.
She is really now coming. This
Really?
is her great passion, and she's
I have rediscovered. I'm
Equestrian.
reliving my childhood, is what I'm doing.
That's good.
what can be nicer?
You know, it was funny. When we first moved here, I'd ridden horses when I was growing up. When we first moved here, found another place to ride, and then my daughter would say, "When is it my turn? When can I take a riding lesson?" So finally, I let her ride, and I thought, we can't both do this. She'll just have to. You know, she took the riding lessons. Well, she's a horse vet now. A horse vet.
Where did she go to school?
She went to Cornell to do her undergraduate work, and then
This is the one at
this is
Cornell.
yeah. She went to Cornell, and then she was
She's your only girl.
only daughter, yeah. And
girl.
thank goodness. God, I don't know if I could take
No.
two of them. Anyway, then she went to Virginia Tech for veterinary school. She and Emily Graham, you know, who has the
Right,
veterinary. They were in
right.
the same class at Virginia
I
Tech.
see.
Anyway, so she, of course, she's always been in love with horses. And finally, when I got all of my kids educated, married, they all had jobs, I thought, I think I'd like to get back into this. So I started taking riding lessons again, and found, and you know, Mont Achterholt, it's her daughter who teaches me, and so yeah, it's been great. So I don't know how long I can do it, but I'll just do it till I
That's
can't anymore. So it's
That's
wonderful.
just
Yes,
wonderful.
it really is.
Good.
Anyway, so lovely of y'all to come.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Let ask you about your family. Where are all of them now? Where?
Mary's in DC practicing
Oh,
law,
okay.
and David's in New York. Business, he's a, what would you call this? Financial guy, one of those. And my daughter Elizabeth is teaching. She's dropped out of teaching, and she's tutoring.
Oh, okay. Was she at Blacksburg for a
She's
while?
at Blacksburg.
That's
She's
awesome.
still there.
She's
She's
still there.
That's a nice area.
And so
It's
all
really
together.
it's improved so much.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Yeah,
Oh
That's
my, it's
wonderful.
10 years, it's,
yeah.
So
can't believe it.
these kids have provided us with 6 grandbabies.
Aw.
The littlest was just born 2 months ago.
No
3
kidding.
months ago.
Oh my
3
gosh.
months ago.
Elizabeth?
David.
David. Okay.
David's wife.
Wow. Now, Mary is she in a private law firm?
She was in a private law firm. Now she represents the church, the Episcopal Church.
Oh, okay.
And she's the Archbishop, or they call him the presiding
Mhm.
bishop. She's his special counsel, the presiding bishop.
That's interesting.
And let's see, Elizabeth is tutoring, and David's in finance. He's with the Credit Suisse Bank. Yes, and not investment. What is he? Counsel,
Yeah.
whatever you call those people.
Probably way over my head.
Yeah.
So you get to see the
We
two live
have
in
to go
Virginia.
to New York. Yeah, the ones in Virginia we see probably more. David we see less often.
Yeah, well,
That's how it goes.
That's
Where
how
are
it
your
goes.
kids now?
Well, you know, our older son was here for a long time. He
I
married a
know that.
local girl. He married Dale Meterspall's daughter.
I know.
And they had this lovely home on the Cowpasture River, just perfect. And he took another job in Charlotte, and he took my grandchildren with him to Charlotte.
course.
So so both of my boys are in Charlotte. Our Graham, our younger son, is He works for a company, they work for the same company. They don't build pipelines, they build the big oil storage tanks. I think that's what they do. So they're both working for the same company, which is kind of nice. They have different job descriptions, but anyway, 7 of the 8 grandchildren are in Charlotte. So, you know, if I want to see them, it's not bad. You know, it's a 4-hour job.
Oh, nice, but that's one trip. And
Yeah, it's one trip. Yeah, so I get to see both of them.
So
And
the
then,
other,
and then my daughter's in Maryland. She's outside of DC. Her husband works he's an attorney for the IRS. So hopefully we'll never get an audit.
Hey!
He might come in handy. And they live in a little town called Garrett Park. It's near, what's that famous Georgetown Prep?
Yeah.
It's very close to Georgetown Prep. Not that they'll ever send there. You know, it's very expensive, but that's the area they live in. And you know what? It's nice, but I don't know. I can't stand the traffic and the.
You know,
Just too busy for me.
We had, as all older people do, wonder whether they're going to live with near a
I
kid.
know, yeah, right.
But we went to Northern Virginia, and because my daughter said, you're so welcome here, we
Yeah.
want you here. We couldn't do it.
I understand.
We're afraid of all those
We've been here
cars.
too long.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I
Just
do.
love it here.
That's what my daughter says, Mom, you could look, we have this room. We're going to make this into a grandma's
The
suite.
same
I said,
thing.
yeah, that's really nice.
Mary
Oh,
Ann do, but we can't do it.
You know, it's wonderful that they want you, isn't it? It's
They
wonderful
want us.
that they want you to come.
Yeah.
They're not trying to think of ways
Yeah.
to get rid of you, which
Yeah.
is nice. And
Yeah.
I told both of my boys, I said, all I want to do, make sure you have a backyard big enough for a granny pod. Have you seen these things? They're these little cabins that they're self-contained, and you can stick them in your backyard. And
Oh, I'll tell Mary about that.
Granny,
She'll probably
granny.
put a granny pod
Granny
just for
pod.
our occasional visits.
it's not. I mean, they really exist. There really is such a thing. Well, thank you so much.